Today I am going to explain the process of Atölye 3 dönüşüm workshop and then discuss the outcomes of the research to understand the effects of traditional and digital methods in design education. As we all know, in the last 4 decades, architectural design has turned into a computer-driven form-based design from a manually driven tool-based design. As these shifts change what is conceived to be possible, understanding the use of CAD/CAM in design process and comparing them with traditional methods become inevitable for architectural education. A few theorists define architectural design as a virtual, not actual process. According to them, traditionally, intuition is the basis. Although there is a general judgment that CAD and CAM tools are insufficient at the point of transferring designers' intuition, there are also various studies asserting the advantages of these systems for the early stages of design, such as their strength in terms of being able to produce a wide range of forms rapidly independent of material and hand skill. Today, this transformation has not yet reached its full potential, mostly because of the lack of computational education of architects. A fully transformed design education model can be identified if the relationship between the design tool, design process, and creativity of the designer is clearly understood. We believe that introducing these new technologies to design students, as well as observing their effects on designers' activity and the design process, is in great importance. For this reason, we organized a workshop for students of architecture in Maltepe University, at which the participants were expected to design by using both traditional and digital design tools. The workshop Atölye 3 dönüşüm on the subject of urban furniture, design, prototype and produce was designed as a 4-day workshop aiming to introduce these technologies to architecture students. Another aim was to observe the interrelations of the design tool, method and the process. Therefore, we planned the process of workshop as 3 phases. First, participants were asked to develop designs by using traditional design methods such as sketching and making models. Secondly, to develop design by using 3D modeling programs. And lastly, to prototype their designs by 3D printing. 31 participants of architecture students were divided into 9 teams of 3 or 4 students and into 3 main groups that would use different design approaches. We assigned to every group a different design approach, being modular, fragmented, and integrated. At the first phase, we asked participants to create a scenario about the function and concept of an urban furniture, decide the principles of form and use, and represent their ideas by sketching and making physical models. At the second phase, we asked them to reproduce the design ideas by using 3D modeling programs. And rather than transferring the designs identically, they were expected to continue to the design process. At the last phase, the completed digital models have been tested and revised to optimize the usage of material and production time. The design process ended with printing the prototypes by 3D printer. In order to observe the changes in each design phase, we asked participants to record their working process at regular intervals and to express their ideas by simple actions during both working with physical and digital models. Accordingly, each design team documented their working process with 10 minutes of video and audio recordings for 3 days, from the emergence of first design idea to final product. At the end of the workshop, posters, physical models, and 3D printed prototypes of designs were submitted for voting throughout the university. The most voted design is being 3D printed in a scale of 1:1. It's important to underline that the winning design belongs to second grade students. Also, the 31 architecture students from different grades were selected according to their ability to use 3D modeling programs. None of the participants were using the CAD program they chose in an advanced mode, and some of them were beginners. In addition, all of the participants never used a 3D printer or designed a product to be printed with one. This test group selection was made on purpose to see the real effect of using a digital tool versus a traditional one. After the workshop, we deciphered and classified these video and audio documents in terms of design operations, then analyzed the relationship between the design approaches, tools, and process in detail by observing the frequency of used concepts and actions. Here you see frequently used actions and concepts during the physical and digital model making process. I'm not going to explain the analysis in detail because of the time constraint, but directly pass to the findings. One of the important outcomes of recording analysis was defining the similarities and differences in words and actions between different approaches and different tools. Despite the changes in forms and functions, verbal explanations show similarities in traditional and digital production, sometimes using with exact same word. On the other hand, the function of the word differs according to the approach and tool. In all design groups, number of words and definitions used for finding form alternatives is greater than designing the form. With this outcome, it can be assumed that CAD programs lets the user to be more creative and encourage them to search for alternatives even if they are non-professional users. Overall, the similarities and differences show that design processes using traditional design tools and computer-aided design tools couldn't be handled independently of design approach and thought. In addition, the research revealed that concepts such as function, ergonomics, size, scale, and structural system are both common aspects of the design and independent of the design tool. Regarding to the research, the most significant finding is that digital design and digital fabrication make it easier and more effective to express the ideas for designer. Therefore, today's architectural education system should have courses related to digital design and production methods, and students must be encouraged to use those new techniques. We believe that increasing and expanding the scope of such research will allow for a more detailed and in-depth reading of the relationship between the design tool and the design method and light the way to a new education. Thank you for listening.